The other
Ms.
one,
Yaku, how many dogs do you have?
right now, 17.
17 dogs?
Yeah.
I love dogs and I know the dogs bark. That's their voice and they use it. When you put 17 dogs together, they are going to make some noise. This woman seems nice enough and she may be making sure that her dogs are fed before she is. But what about vet care? Nobody talks about that in this hearing. Let's just say a low average for good vet care is $1,000 a year. Is she really paying $17,000 a year to take care of these dogs properly? What if one gets sick? That's going to multiply the cost. 17 dogs is nice. She may think she wants more, but is she really taking care of these dogs properly? And would you want to be her neighbor?
Ms. Fodge, we have a resolution.
Yes, Judge, my client is ready to plead guilty as charged under 771.1. We're respectfully requesting that the case be dismissed if my client has complied with all terms and conditions of probation. That is my client fully understands that, Judge.
Has she figured out a way to get the dog to stop barking?
So yeah, that is one little concern I was going to bring up. So she tells me that there has been no phone calls since the time that she was since the citation. From what I see, the citation was issued back on September 17th of 2025. She tells me it's actually gone a lot better and there has been no phone calls. Obviously, the only time the dogs do bark is when my client enters the house, which I think is very understandable because they're very excited to see her. And also when she's bringing out the food because they're excited to eat. But other than that, Judge, I don't believe there has been any issues. What I'm a bit worried about is obviously if my client is placed on probation and she's granted 771.1, and I told my client that you will take all of this into consideration if anything comes up. The concern that we have is we obviously cannot control what the neighbors do. So I don't really know the relationship. I'm pretty sure the neighbors are probably upset with my client because she has quite a lot of dogs. I'm a little bit worried that these neighbors could pretty much call for any reason and make sort of any complaint. And then my client finds herself in a situation where, she will violate probation potentially, and then this will result in the case will not be dismissed at the end of probation. But I did tell my client that obviously that if something comes out that you will hear both sides of the stories, Judge, and take everything into consideration before deciding what to do on the case. That is our only concern. My client tells me things have gotten a lot better. But again, the concern is we cannot control what somebody else does. We cannot control if any phone calls are made from other neighbors for whatever reason, even if the reasons are not valid, Judge.
Well, I mean, the court will take all that into consideration. I mean, I'm going to want to know that the barking situation has not improved before I would sanction your client. Like Ms. Yakub, has it been better with the dogs?
Yes, definitely. Since the day that I got the citation until now, like I just mentioned to Miss Ida, the only time they bark is when I get home because they get excited. I'm home, and then when I get the so they bark as soon as I enter. I yell at them, and they are quiet. And then when I get the dinner ready, they bark because they want everyone, they want to get the food first. So it's not all of them bark. It just I get the two little ones bark and the big one. So only 3 of them bark with the dinner time. The other
Ms.
one,
Yakub, how many dogs do you have?
right now, 17.
17 dogs?
Yeah, I came from Sterling Heights with lots of dogs, and I did call because the reason I came from Sterling Heights, I had people did my floor, and then after I paid them, they called on me. So the animal control came, and then they said that I have a lot of dogs. I said, yes, I do have 13 dogs. They said, well, you can't because there is a limit said I did not know there is a limit in Sterling Heights. So they gave me citation when I called the court over there. They said it's $800. Don't pay it. We're gonna, send you to a court. So for about a year and a half, I was going back and forth to the court because they told me I have some options. I either have to rehome my dogs, and then or move. So I took the option of moving. So that's why I started calling lots of the cities to see which city has no dog limit. So I found out that Royal Oak has no limit. So to make sure, I called the Royal Oak Police Station and I called the Royal Oak Animal Control, and I said, I have 13 dogs. Is that okay if I move to Royal Oak? They said, yeah, because in Royal Oak there is no limit for having dogs. You can have as many dogs as you want as long as they're not a nuisance. So I said, yeah, my dogs are not a nuisance really, because the only time they bark is only when I get home and then the time they eat. That's all. So that's why I found, after a year and a half going back and forth to Sterling Heights court, I found the house in Royal Oak and I moved. So yeah.
17 dogs.
Yeah. That's not
What's
enough.
it?
That's not
What?
enough.
But I'm just operating out of sheer curiosity. How many? What are they? All different types of breeds?
Yeah. Well, I have. Let's see. I have 7 Pomeranians. One of them is no, actually 6 Pomeranians. One of them is a toy Pomeranian, and then I have a toy poodle, and then the other Pomeranian, he's a Pomsky. So that's 8, and then I have a brother and a sister American Eskimo, and I do have German Shepherd. She's a female. And I have Golden Sammy. I had 4, but I lost 1. And then I have a Husky. I have 2 female Husky and male Husky. So
This is, I must say, Ms. Yakub, that is the most amount of dogs that I've ever heard in a home in our community. Wow. And I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to try to keep them fed, to try to stay on top of things in your backyard.
yeah.
How do you do it, ma'am?
I just do it. I mean, I don't know. Even Officer Palmer came and he wanted to visit to look at my dogs, and he said they are healthy. Why? Because the neighbor, one at the time, they called and then they said her dogs are skinny, which I don't know how they figured that out. So Officer Palmer came and then he says, I want to see your dog. So he actually came in the house with his 2 other officers. And then he said, yeah, they are very healthy. And then other officers came and they looked at my dogs. They said, yeah, you got beautiful dogs and they are all healthy. And yeah, I bring food for them before I bring food for myself.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Spach, obviously we will, we'll take a look, and if there's any future complaints, the court will obviously take a look and make sure that they are well-founded before the court takes any action against Ms. Yakub. I think, she did her homework. She checked around. She wanted to make sure there was a community where she could do that. She has had animal control take a look at her dogs.
Yeah.
And so although the concept is, unimaginable for me, Ms. Yakub is making it work, and as long as she continues to work on them with their barking, then this won't be an issue for her going forward. So Ms. Yakub, it sounds like Ms. Spach has worked out a resolution where you plead guilty to this, but if there's no further issues, then the court will be dismissing the matter. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, please raise your right hand.
Yes.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Of
truth, so help you God.
course. Yes, the
All
whole.
right, please put your hand down. All right, ma'am, can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, I do.
Can you hear and understand me?
Yes, I do.
Have you had a full chance to talk to Ms. Spodge about this?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with, well, you call her Ms. Ida. Are you satisfied with her advice?
Yeah.
You're pleading guilty to barking dogs. That's a misdemeanor carrying with it a maximum possible fine of $500 plus costs and up to 93 days in jail, all at this court's discretion. Before you enter a plea, you should understand you have the right to represent yourself or be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you at public expense. You have the right to a trial, either by me or by a jury. At that trial, you'd have the right to confront, cross-examine, question all witnesses brought against you. You'd have the right to have the court subpoena witnesses on your behalf. You'd have the right to testify if you wanted to, remain silent if you wanted to, and no one could say anything about you remaining silent. As you appear before this court, you're presumed innocent of these charges, and your guilt of this charge and your guilt has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Ma'am, do you understand that once you enter a plea, you give up all those rights that I just said that you have at a trial?
Yes. I just want to mention something that I feel like the neighbors are really harassing me because, like I mentioned, like I am out there in the backyard, and all of a sudden the lady opens her window and she started cussing me out and telling me to shut up and and then this is happening a few times, not only one
Well,
time.
Ms. Yakub, if you feel like you're being harassed or threatened in any way, you could always reach out to the police as well, in order to, protect yourself. I mean, Ms. Yakub, I guess I can't give you any particular advice on how to best get along with your neighbors. This happened, this ticket was written in September. It's now November. It's 2 months of no, doesn't sound like there's been any phone calls, so maybe things have settled down.
Yeah, because one time they throw.
Ms. Yakub, let's just, because we have to, if you want to take the plea, we'll just have to answer these questions so that way we can put the plea on the record and then we can address any other issues that, if they come up, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Let me start over again. You have the right to represent yourself or be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you at public expense. You have the right to a trial, either by me or by a jury. At that trial, you'd have the right to confront, cross-examine, question all witnesses brought against you. You'd have the right to have the court subpoena witnesses on your behalf. You'd have the right to testify if you wanted to, remain silent if you wanted to, and no one could say anything about you remaining silent. As you appear before this court, you're presumed innocent of this charge, and your guilt has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Ma'am, do you understand that once you enter a plea, you give up all those rights that I just said that you have at a trial?
Yes,
Once you plead guilty, there won't be a trial. You understand that?
yes, I do understand.
Has anybody promised you or threatened you in any way other than the fact that this case will be dismissed as long as there's no further issues with the dogs and you pay any fines and costs?
Yes, I understand.
Right. Any other promises other than that?
No.
Is it your own choice to offer a plea?
Yes,
All right, September 17th of this year, 2025. Were you the homeowner or resided at 10 where there were barking dogs present?
yes,
All right, satisfied, Ms. Spodge?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
I too am satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and accurate. I will accept the same. Anything before the court delay sentence, Ms. Spodge?
Just a couple of things. Obviously, Judge, as you can tell, my client loves her dog. She has quite a lot, and she's done quite a lot of research in order to make sure that she can, move to a city that will allow her to have all of these dogs and take care of them. As you can even tell, Judge, she said she makes sure that her dogs are fed before she feeds herself. So she truly loves them. It appears that she takes really good care of them, Judge. She understands that she has to control the barking issue if she wants to get this case dismissed at the end of a term of probation. My client is 63 years old. She's actually 62 years old, Judge. She is gainfully employed. She still works for a plant here in Royal Oak. I'm just respectfully requesting that you place her on a short period of probation, Judge, with the understanding that obviously if there's no other violations while on probation, that this case will be dismissed. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, is there anything you'd like to say before the court imposes a sentence?
no, I don't have anything.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Obviously, there was an offense here, so there needs to be a sanction, but I'm gonna keep the fines and costs low, and, you know, obviously, if there's further issues, the court can always sanction Ms. Yacoub in a more significant way, but I'm hopeful that we won't get to that point. So the maximum fine is $500. I'll set it at $25. The maximum court costs are $500. I'll set it at $25. State of Michigan costs are $125. So the total is $175. I don't expect it right away, Ms. Yacoub. I'll adjourn this for review in 90 days. If there's no further dog issues, then the court will dismiss the case. She'll still have to pay you have 90 days to pay $175 and no new dog tickets. Okay.
Okay. So how long is the probation? I'm sorry.
Right now it's 90 days, 3 months.
Oh, this is all 90 days for the probation and to pay the 175, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I can
Right.
pay the 175 today if I could use my credit card.
You can just check. You can do that downstairs.
Okay. All right.
And Mr. Markham, I know you're here on this one as well on Yacoub. I didn't have any other notification that there's been any issues in the last 60 days.
Yeah.
Were you aware of any?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. I actually talked to one of the deputy chiefs about this case, and it doesn't appear there's been anything since this ticket was issued.
Very good. Okay, Ms. Yacoub, good luck with your herd of dogs. And I gotta admit, you know, hearing the reports back from the officers and all of that, I don't know that I could do it, Ms. Yacoub, but there must be some superpower that you have. And obviously it sounds like you really love your animals, and just make sure you stay on top of that so that you can be a good neighbor. Okay.
Yes, sure. Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Mr. Markham. Bye-bye.
Thank you.